Welcome to the Prepper Almanac. Thank you for joining us today. It is deeply appreciated. In today's video, we are about to embark on a journey into a world you may have only glimpsed in your darkest nightmares. Our topic, you ask? We're going to discuss what to expect when martial law is declared. We'll take a look at the possible scenarios, the potential restrictions, and the changes that could impact our daily lives. We'll peel back the layers of societal structure and delve into what happens when that structure crumbles. And if I give you value in today's video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. Feel free to share the video with others and be sure to watch the video to the end. I look forward to hearing your thoughts about the video in the comment section below. So let's dive in, shall we? Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Imagine this: society is on the brink of collapse. Infrastructure crumbles, businesses close, and institutions break down. Chaos reigns and the government imposes martial law. What can you expect? Picture a world not too dissimilar from our own. Suddenly, the very fabric of society begins to fray at the edges. Roads fall into disrepair, power grids flicker and die, water supplies dry up. Businesses, once bustling with activity, now stand abandoned, their doors shuttered. Schools, hospitals, banks, the very institutions that once formed the backbone of our society, start to crumble under the weight of uncertainty and fear. In this hypothetical scenario, chaos is the new normal. Law and order become distant memories as people scramble to survive. It's every person for themselves. But amidst this pandemonium, a new order rises from the ashes: martial law. Martial law is the imposition of direct military control of civilian functions during emergencies or in response to crises. It's the government's last-ditch attempt to regain control, to restore order. But what does it really mean for you and me? Under martial law, your daily life would change drastically. The freedoms and rights you once took for granted could be curtailed or even suspended. Curfews could be imposed, restricting your movements. Identification and tracking could become stringent, with fingerprinting becoming commonplace. Hospitals and other emergency facilities overrun with patients could fall under government control. Even your right to voice your opinion could come under threat, with the government taking control of the media. Travel could be restricted and in some cases outright banned. Firearms? Those could be confiscated. Certain items could be prohibited from sale in an attempt to curtail crime. You could see rationing of resources and even the confiscation of food for redistribution. And businesses, they could be commandeered by the government, especially if national security is at risk. Martial law isn't a simple concept. It is a complex and multifaceted response to extreme societal disruption. It affects every aspect of life. Under martial law, one of the most common restrictions is the imposition of a curfew on civilians. In a world where chaos reigns, a curfew acts as a tool for control, a measure to maintain some semblance of order. It's a way to keep the streets clear, to limit potential unrest, and to establish a sense of authority. But what does this mean for you? Restricted movement. Your nights become confined within the four walls of your home, with the potential of severe consequences should you dare to break the rules. In addition to this, your identity becomes more crucial than ever. The necessity of fingerprinting and identification under martial law cannot be overstated. It's not just about who you are, but where you are and what you're doing. This method of tracking and monitoring is a way for the government to control the civilian population. Curfews and identification measures are all about control, ensuring the government can keep tabs on the civilian population. In a martial law situation, hospitals will likely be overrun, leading the government to take control. This could have profound implications for healthcare services and emergency responses. With government control, there may be a prioritization of resources, potentially leaving some without access to necessary treatments. Patient rights could be compromised as the state strives to manage the crisis. Simultaneously, the First Amendment rights we hold dear might be curtailed. The government may seize control of media outlets, altering the flow of information to the public. This could result in a single narrative, carefully crafted by those in power, replacing the diverse voices we're accustomed to. News may become more about government directives and less about free and fair reporting. And why would they do this? When society is on the brink, maintaining order becomes paramount. Controlling the narrative helps to manage the chaos, even at the cost of our freedoms. When the government takes control of hospitals and media, it's about maintaining order and controlling the narrative. Travel restrictions are another common feature of martial law. This is not just about keeping people in place, but also about controlling the flow of information and resources. Movement becomes a privilege, not a right. Highways can turn into checkpoints, and the friendly skies may not seem so friendly anymore. It's an uncomfortable thought, but it's important to understand the potential implications on our personal freedom and economic activity. Now let's talk about firearms. In times of widespread chaos, law enforcement may be overwhelmed, leading to a potential confiscation of firearms. The reasoning behind this is simple: to prevent an escalation of violence and to maintain public order. This doesn't just apply to firearms, but to any weapon that could be used to cause harm. It's a controversial topic with strong arguments on both sides. But when martial law is declared, the focus is on preventing unrest and maintaining public safety. Travel restrictions and firearm confiscation are about preventing unrest and maintaining public safety. Remember, knowledge is power. The more we understand, the better prepared we can be. In an effort to curtail crime, officials may decide to shut down certain businesses or prohibit the sale of certain items. When martial law is declared, the list of prohibited items may extend beyond the usual suspects like alcohol, ammunition, or firearms. It could include anything that's deemed a potential hazard or a luxury that's simply not sustainable in a crisis. Imagine your local grocery store with half its shelves empty or your favorite restaurant closed indefinitely. This is not just about controlling what's in your shopping cart, but it's also about controlling the economy itself, ensuring that essential resources are not squandered. But what about food? In extreme situations, the government might even ration resources, including food. This is no dystopian fiction, but a stark reality from our past. During World War II, rationing was a part of everyday life, a necessary measure to ensure everyone got their fair share. Prohibiting sales and rationing resources is about ensuring survival and preventing further chaos. Finally, the government has the right to commandeer businesses, especially when national security is at risk. Imagine a world where your neighborhood grocery store or your favorite restaurant is taken over by the government. It's a drastic measure, but in times of crisis, the government may see this as the only way to ensure essential goods and services continue to flow. This state control over businesses can have far-reaching implications. Workers could be forced to continue their jobs under new management, while the economy could experience major shifts as private enterprise gives way to government control. Now, let's not forget about food. In a world spiraling into chaos, feeding the population becomes a critical task. The government might resort to confiscating food supplies not out of malice, but to ensure equitable distribution. Picture a scenario where your pantry could be raided for the greater good. It's a grim prospect, but it's a reality under martial law. Confiscating food and commandeering businesses is about ensuring the nation can continue to function and survive. As we move into this new reality, the community's response becomes crucial. People will need to adapt quickly, find new ways to cooperate, and develop survival strategies. It will be a time for neighbor to help neighbor, for communities to pull together. We might see the emergence of underground economies where goods and services are bartered rather than bought. Skills like farming, hunting, and first aid could become highly valuable. In this scenario, prepping becomes essential. Whether it's having a stash of non-perishable food, a supply of clean water, or a well-stocked medical kit, these items can make the difference between survival and disaster. It's not just about physical goods, though. Knowledge is power. Knowing how to start a fire, purify water, or even build a shelter can be life-saving skills. As we wrap up today's video, if you have any questions or if there are any topics that you would like discussed in the future, let us know in the comment section below. We love to get video ideas from the community, and let us know what you think of today's video as well. We always appreciate input. Be sure to like today's video and subscribe to the channel to learn more about prepping, and share the video with others that may have a passion for prepping or are curious about prepping in general. And lastly, we have put some links to some prepper supplies that you might want to check out in the description below. Thanks for watching the Prepper Almanac.